Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this standard gameplay of the Rakdos Inti Midrange deck. This is going to be a little bit of a different style video as I'm using this for prep for my RCQ this coming weekend, and it's going to be more of a learning and figuring things out thing rather than somebody who knows the ins and outs of their deck and knows exactly what to do. So my sideboard plan is not solidified, my gameplay is going to be a little bit sloppy, but if you'd like to learn along with me and check out my thought process on this, enjoy the video. You could also find the deck list all together up here. I posted a different video about that so you can see what I'm playing and then pop back to these videos to see how I play it. Let's tune in. Hey everybody, Optimus Tom here again. We're going to be going through some more standard gameplay with my Rakdos Inti mid-range type deck that I'm probably going to be taking to the RCQ this coming weekend. So we win the die roll and start with 6 lands and a cut down, which is not keepable. And okay, so this is like exactly what we want to see. Removal spell, Deep Cavern Bat, Inti. Let's keep this. Put back our Sulfur Springs, and we go. Right, could be Esper, could be Soldiers, could be Mentor. We'll have to wait and see. And by wait and see, I mean we'll figure it out right now. Alright, so it is Esper Control, which means that this Inti is not long for this world because of this temporary lockdown and this Get Lost. There's also a March of Otherworldly Light. There's a Wandering Emperor. So I'm probably going to take the lockdown, because if they get lost, the bat, that's at least out of the way. They don't have a third land, however, so it could be correct to grab the lockdown, but then they can just cast the Get Lost. So yeah, I'm just gonna take the Get Lost. See if they decide that they want to March of Otherworldly Light my Inti next turn. We get an Archfiend. So I'll throw down Inti. Might be able to cheat in 2 damage here, just discarding a cut down since it's useless. But it looks like they're going to March my Inti. That would be the correct play. They'd have to pitch their Emperor or their Lockdown unless they drew another card, though. Okay, well, they just drew another Get Lost, so that's extremely unfortunate for us. But no third land? No third land is pretty solid for us. So if they want to march, it's 2 less for each card exiled this way. So they can march for 1, 3, 5 with our Archfiend of the Dross. So I'll lose these map tokens if they are able to temporary lockdown, and if they drew Casualties of War or something, or make disappear or something, or a No More Lies. Like, this is bad, but No More Lies I can't really play anything around anyway. I could play something against make disappear, but that's about it. But this is going to be a matchup where I'm going to have to be the aggressor. Yes, they have temporary lockdown, just kind of stink for us, but I'm going to just have to sideboard into Lilianas and Duresses and things like that. Extract the Truth could be pretty good here too, because I could just remove something from them there. So my game plan is probably going to be play the Preacher. I could fire up Restless Vents, but they could exile it, which kind of stinks. I think I'm just going to start mapping onto Archfiend. They quick study. And they have 2 quick studies in hand, so it's probably going to be a quick study turn, unless they have a way to remove Archfiend. So they do. So they're exiling temporary lockdown. Okay. So that fizzles because of that. So now this is pretty good too, because I can just do this and then play a Bloodtithe Harvester instead of the Preacher. They have a Wandering Emperor. I think I want to... No, if I draw this, then I can't really play Preacher. So let's put this in the graveyard. Because I only really want 1 blood token to get rid of this cut down. because then next turn I can do Preacher, discard Cut Down if I don't draw a land. Oh, well, they just draw a second temporary lockdown. Okay. This is a very unlucky game for us. Because that also gets rid of my blood token. And now Preacher of the Schism is just going to get lost. So I think... So if I play Preacher and it gets lost, then I can double map onto my Restless... I can only single map onto my Restless Vent next turn because I only have one land. I think I'm just going to do this. Get rid of this Cut Down, see what I find. Alright, another Bloodtithe Harvester. But this is a rough matchup for us. I feel like the Discover version is better equipped for the Control matchup, whereas the Inti version, like temporary lockdown, so many more things get hit by this. And we're not even facing down their board whites. They're just 1-for-1ing us right now because we didn't draw a hand that had like multiple 2-drops in the first stage. And even if they have multiple 2-drops, temporary lockdown hurts. So they have a Get Lost for the Restless Vent. So if I do that, they can get lost the Restless Vent, and then I just play Bloodtithe Harvester. But I don't really want to discard anything. So I think I just try to see if Preacher resolves through a No More Lies. I'm just going to try to double spell. Make them stick Emperor in their hand, and they get to play Quick Study, which is not great for us, but we have Shieldreds. Okay, I'll also take them using Field of Ruin. Probably want to find ourselves a swamp. Probably good, because just take a look at our deck was stacked there. It's not the greatest. So they get to get lost that as well. This is okay. Like, they still have Wandering Emperor. They haven't used their Quick Study. So Wandering... Ooh, okay, so this is like one of the better draws in our deck here. I think what I want to do is make them activate Wandering Emperor. Which they're not going to do. Now I'm just really tempted to see if they have a counter spell in their last 2 cards. No More Lies, I can't deal with. The Make Disappear, I can deal with. I think knowing that my game plan is more solid in game 2 and 3, I just jam this, and if it sticks, cool, I win. Maybe. If it doesn't, oh well. Now since I have nothing else in my hand, let's map. Okay, well, they had their 4th Get Lost. 3rd Get Lost. We have multiple maps now. Opponent is drawing very well this game. They have another... Okay, they have a March. So Emperor is out of the way, which is pretty good for us. So they can just Quick Study here. They should Quick Study now. And if they drew a counter spell, what are you gonna do? Fourth Get Lost? 3rd March? 3rd March. What did they pitch? Another temporary lockdown. Okay, so we're fighting through all of their 1-for-1 removal, and they pitched a Wandering Emperor. So as long as we keep drawing threats, we're actually not in that bad of a spot. Well, that's not a threat. We'll hold this in hand, make them think that we have like a removal spell or something that we can't cast. The 2 quick studies now have like caught opponent back up. And now we're just drawing lands, unfortunately. I mean, we have 25 in our deck, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's not like we've drawn a bunch of lands this game. Opponent actually has more lands than us? Okay. The downside is that they do win the draw-go matchup, so if we don't draw another thing next turn, I think what I do is, especially with this Memory Deluge, I think what I do is just scoop up and go to game 2 just to save some time on the clock. If we don't draw like Shieldred, Archfiend, something like that. But opponent is now at a full 7 cards in hand, so this is looking very not good for us. Yeah, cool. Okay. Like I said, I like our game plan for game 2 and 3 better. So we're going to be going there. So I'll get the Duresses and the Extract the Truths. Obviously, we don't need these cut downs. They didn't do anything. Bitter Triumph still has some targets. Go for the Throat. I'm probably just going to cut that. We have Bitter Triumph anyway, so we still have like a removal spell if we need it. We want another Shieldred and we want our Liliana. So now we just kind of have to figure out like what are the worst cards in our deck. Cruelty of Gix is interesting. You can only get creatures though. You can't get planeswalkers. So I'm probably just going to keep that off to the side, even though we can just get something that gets Get Lost back. I think so. Geological Appraiser is cool because you can get 2 spells, but looking at what my deck is doing, I don't know how many of those 2 spells I can actually do. So Geological Appraiser into Liliana though would be great, or into Gix would be great. This is the part of the deck I want to see after these. So what I think I'm going to be doing is actually cutting down on the 2 drops so that temporary lockdown is a little bit less effective. Extract the Truth is really good at killing a lockdown that's on the board, and it can get rid of a planeswalker in hand, so then we could go like Duress on their counterspell, Extract the Truth on their Wandering Emperor. So I think what I do is I go down some Blood Tithe Harvesters. I might go down 1 Inti, and then I just need to figure out what the other one is. Tenacious Underdog in these matchups is great because it kind of gives us a little bit of longevity and a little bit of reach. Archfiend is like this big beater, but I think if we're going to be going more of like the disruption style, we do that. It might just be right to cut down to a 2 Inti in this matchup, but if I can grab a temporary lockdown and hoping they don't top deck another one after I immediately duress it on turn 1, I could curve like duress into Inti and then wind up getting some value, which would be pretty nice. So let's see what our hand gives us. Not the greatest. I'm going to mulligan this one. This is also not the greatest, but I don't really want to go down to 6 cards if they're keeping... go down to 5 cards if they're keeping 7. So this one might unfortunately be a wash, but we'll have to see. Because we can Extract the Truth away a Planeswalker, Extract the Truth away a temporary lockdown. Okay, Bat, thank you. Our Lord and Savior Deep Cavern Bat. Emperor, temporary lockdown, Get Lost. Cool. Well, we have answers for everything in their hand and can potentially lead them with just lands. Ooh, second Bat as well. So we're going to Bat this temporary lockdown. And then we'll probably Extract the Truth for Wandering Emperor next turn. After we attack. Boom. So now we've drawn pretty well. Their opponent drew well last game. We draw well this game, so... that might have been incorrect. I might have wanted to play the Soken'Zon instead because they have a counterspell here. I could Extract the Truth twice, which would have been fantastic. And if I get punished by a counterspell, that's a misplay. I mean, it is a misplay in general, but if I get punished for it, it's a very bad misplay. Okay, so they have a Get Lost. So their game plan might be get lost now on this deep cavern bat, and then get lost this deep cavern bat after they untap. Oh, well, they have the lockdown, so they're getting rid of this, and then they're going to be really sad when we just get their get lost again. Alright, so they have all lands. So we'll play Black Clee Cliffs, and then looking like Restless Vent turns. Preacher of the Schism, actually. I should read the cards. That was a punt. I forget this thing flies all the time. Well, this is just going to get lost now. So we can activate our Restless Vent, put some map tokens on it. We were in a good spot until I punted there. But that's on me for forgetting that Restless Anchorage is basically Celestial Colonnade with flying. So my game plan was to have Bats, Tokens on, and Restless Vents be the way that we win this game, but now I'm thinking it's going to just have to be map tokens because they don't have a Field of Ruin. If we find a land here, we just play that land. Okay, so they Otawara. We knew they had that in hand. And we'll just replay the Restless Vent. So if they have Memory Deluge or Quick Studies, this is where they start to pull away with the game. But right now, even though we kind of threw the game, it's not the worst position for us. And then they map. And it's land. Aha! So let's do this again. Another get lost. We'll get more maps. We'll play this and pass. Opponent had 3 get lost in this game as well. We've gained a lot of life, so we're not terrible. Not in terrible position. If this is like a Wandering Emperor on top, then I'm going to be a little sad. Temporary lockdown. We're okay with that. If they want to keep that. And they did. So they'll have a temporary lockdown and we'll have a Preacher of the Schism. Chrome Host Seed Shark. Oh, we'll have a Shielded the Apocalypse. I'm just going to double map now since I know they have the temporary lockdown on top of their library. Inti seems pretty good, but not great into temporary lockdown. So there's the argument that I actually want to make Shielded bigger and then put Inti away. So there's still a chance. We punted horribly, but there's still a chance. This is a 3/4 currently. This is still a 2/3. These cost 3 to activate. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they can 3, 5, 7. So they can potentially kill Shieldred. No, well, they have Sunfall, so opponent is drawing extremely well these games. And there are no quick studies or any sort of draws in this game either. Okay, so this is how we catch back up. We play Geological Appraiser. And we flip into like Liliana of the Veil. Which doesn't actually do a ton on this board because they have flyers. So Tenacious Underdog is probably one of the better cards to draw into here. They do have temporary lockdown, but now temporary lockdown gets rid of their incubate tokens, which is not great for them. If they attack with both here, we just block with Tenacious Underdog and then we blitz. They can flip this and like block, but then we just draw a card. Alright, so yeah, they're not doing that. So they explore, they find a land, so they still have enough to either activate or flip this. Bitter Triumph's pretty decent. The game plan now is probably just, if I swing with everything, they will probably flip and double trade, which might be okay. If I flip and double trade, that gets rid of an incubate token, or it gets rid of a land. And then I can just play Preacher and Bitter Triumph. I could Bitter Triumph the land, or I could Bitter Triumph a 5/5. They can't really attack with a 5/5 if I have a Preacher of the Schism, though. So let's attack with everything. And then, like, if this like, I want this to die so I can start blitzing it, basically. And they're not going to do that. Now, Counterspell off the top here is really bad for us and might just be GG. But they don't have it, so that's pretty good. Like that and Memory Deluge are the worst cards for us right now. It was about time they drew one, though. They hadn't drawn one all game. Not like they didn't draw well. I would like to do this before you attack and create a map. Thanks. We're grinding. We're trying. So we can draw a card and create a creature. They can trade, which I think is fine. They have Wandering Emperor mana, which is unfortunate for us, but I don't see how we don't get back into this without drawing a card. Do they have another March or another Get Lost? Oh, they haven't had a March yet this game, have they? They haven't had a March yet this game. Did they have their first March? Now there's an argument that I don't want to attack with this, so I could just chump. They just did that so that I don't get both, which is pretty nice. Knockout Blow. Oh. Really? They put Knockout Blow in here? I would not have done that, but hey, that's why opponent is winning and I'm not, right? Let's throw down Geological Appraiser. You find a Duress. What do you have in your hand, opponent? Please tell me it's like Wandering. Oh, it's just a land. Okay, so we get your temporary lockdown that we really weren't concerned about to begin with. I guess we just pass. We are not in a great spot, but we're both kind of in top deck mode. Top deck Shielded is really good. Top deck Wandering Emperor, Memory Deluge, or Quick Study for them is really good. Top deck Archfiend of the Dross is also really good for us, so... Opponent making map tokens, though, to kind of explore away cards they don't want is just tempo that I wish we had. Ooh, Chrome Seed Shark is pretty good for them. Okay, I'll take that. So we're not dead. probably don't want to attack. My attacks look like they just get to eat my thing for free, and I can blitz it for basically a net 2 life on my turn. I think we honestly just have to ride out the Shieldred train because we're going to die to potentially 2 more turns. Right now it's a 3-turn clock. It's a 3-turn clock in general, actually, because they could bring it up to 4 here, which doesn't actually change the amount of damage they do next turn. Having an extra might changes the math so that this is... Oh, well, this is not long for the world. All right, so how do we make this the most awkward blocks for my opponent? Because they can just chump. Shieldred gets in for 4, and then this is more than enough for me to die on the crackback. I think we're just dead. Because they can just tap. They tap 5 for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they can still activate. So then they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers. We have can't block 5 in the air. We can block here, take 6. So we have 1 more draw. Yeah, because we can't even attack with this, because then if it dies, we blitz, we try to find something. We blitz for... we have 3 mana. Or 4 mana. But the only thing there is Archfiend of the Dross. That might have been like a better game plan, but... just to see if that was like the one out, right? So they activate... This is 6 damage in the air. I guess they don't have to march. They don't have to play it like that right now. Dang. Gas. All gas. Where's my gas? I guess I top decked Shieldred twice, so like can't complain. And another one. So the worst part now is like attacking you with everything doesn't really do anything. Like I attack with everything. They don't even have to use this on my Shieldred. And then I play a second Shieldred and they use that on my Shieldred and I die. So this is looking pretty dead unless I can get my opponent to use his removal spell and like let through damage, but in which case it's still only 6 damage, so opponent's not dead. But we do for the Hail Mary swing. Yeah, and then we're just dead on board too. To their spell, their creature land, and their Chrome Host Seed Shark. So GG's. Opponent drew extremely well. If we had that Deep Cavern mat and we didn't attack into the land, then we probably would have been in a little bit better shape, but we made a couple of mistakes. Our sideboard plan seemed really solid. It's just our opponent was better than us this game. A, both in gameplay and knowledge of what their cards do, and B, in the fact that they had a better setup for dealing with our deck. If I just very quickly, before we bow out of this matchup, go into my deck again really quick, just to kind of look at like what I have done anything differently for the sideboard or anything like that. So we took out the 3 cutdowns, we took out the 1 go for the throat, and then we took out a Blood Tithe Harvester and an Archfiend of the Dross. I think looking back on the fact they kept in those temporary lockdowns, they had knockout blows, they deal 5 damage, maybe keeping the Archfiend in was correct, and then like taking out another Inti, so it was like 2 Blood Tithe Harvesters, 2 Intis would have been correct. Tenacious Underdog, like I said, could have been something that grinds us out a game, but we were never in a position where that was the case. So maybe we just take out the Tenacious Underdog, although I still kind of like the upside. We brought in the 3 Duresses. I don't like how it does this, but the 3 Duresses, 2 Liliana of the Veils, the Shieldred, and the Extractitrudes. Our plan with the Extractitrudes went pretty well. We got our opponent down to basically only lands in hand. And then when we made the mistake of attacking a Deep Cavern Bat into Restless Anchorage because I didn't read the card and forgot that I had flying, that was a big misplay that gave them back a Get Lost after we got rid of their temporary lockdown to lock down that Get Lost. So I was a little stuck in that mindset of I need to be attacking, I need to be aggro, and I didn't properly assess the board. So if you want to check out how to properly do that, don't watch me play. Watch the Playing with a Purpose video that I did the other day on YouTube. So that'll be a lesson learned for myself when I'm attacking into blue-white or Esper Control players at the RC. So that was a matchup against a control deck. It didn't pan out for it this time, but that's fine because we're learning. We're looking to find out what our sideboard plan is, and we're getting prepared for what actually counts, which is the RCQ on Saturday for me. So if you've liked this video, if you want to see more Magic the Gathering gameplay or more archetype, deck tech, metagame analysis type stuff, don't forget to subscribe to me here on YouTube by tapping that subscribe button. See you guys next game. Bye.